for you. You can activate generated subtitles by clicking on the closed caption button below. Well, these subtitles will not be 100% accurate, but it's better than, yeah, it's useful. As I said, everything regarding the recording, the slides, and a feedback questionnaire will be sent in a few days via email. And it will be very useful if you answer the feedback questionnaire, both for us and for you, because if you attend at least 80% of the event and complete the feedback questionnaire, you will receive a attendance certificate. If you have not received it by September 25th, please check your spam folders because it tends to end up there. But yeah, we will be sure to assist you. In regards of the Q&A function, this is not for today, but you can put your questions on the chat and we will be checking. So a bit of an introduction of our speaker today, Daisy.
Yes, thank you, Christina, and hi everyone. I hope you're all well. So today is a very important Advocacy Academy session. Some of you already had a brief session about it, or not a brief session, an in-depth session about it during the WildE training in Bangkok. But for some of you, it's a new topic with this Advocacy Academy session, and a very important one, which is how to write impactful advocacy emails. And who else than Nurian to share her knowledge about this, as she's a very well-known member of the WildE program, a WildE mentor, and also a global advocate. And she will shine today with her experience. So Nurian, welcome to this advocacy session. The floor is yours.
Well, good morning for me, good afternoon for you. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you for the beautiful introduction and for making this happen. I'm very happy to be here with all the WildEs today. I'm excited to speak about emails because this is something I do every day, often. At least I write at least 20 emails per day, if not more, not sure. But anyway, I'm going to share everything that I know, everything that I've learned and taught so far in my daily life as a lecturer at the university, but also as an advocate, especially as an advocate. If you have any questions, please pose them. We are going to do two things today. One is I am going to share tips, tops, but also more in detail and concrete examples on how to improve your emails and make it impactful and straight to the point so you can achieve your goals. And the second thing is that we're going to do interactive activities. Since the group is not too big, I do not mind that you open your camera or your mic to speak and ask questions. I don't mind that, but I think it would be good to put them in the chat so everyone can keep track of your questions. Before we start, I just wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to be using a platform called PollEV. Please go on the website PollEV. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can start warming up, logging in, creating an account if you need, so we can use it later. PollEV.com. Later, I'll make sure to give you a few moments to figure it out. Don't worry. Okay, so we're ready to start with the slides. Here we go. All right, can everybody see the slides? Just put a thumbs up. So you cannot see the slides? Oh, yes, you can. Okay, perfect. So why writing an email is so important? As you may imagine, an email is not just a communication channel, but it's also the key to opportunities. It's the way you open your windows for other opportunities and collaborations. When you want to create a good impression or actually achieve your goal, your email should be one straight to the point. You should be very clear in what you want to achieve. And you have to know who you're speaking to or who you are communicating to. So we're going to start with the basic things first of writing an email. So first things first, the email. Make sure that the email is easy to identify who you are, but it fits the purpose. So I often have a joke about an email having a lot of numbers and sweet tooth something. Guys, just one piece of advice: name, last name, or name.advocacy or name.wilde and your country. something that fits the purpose, but also is recognizable to someone else. Remember that many emails are identified as spam, phishing, and they're just, you can be blocked because of this reason. So think about having a signature where people can identify you as well. Other general things you should know. Do not forget to put a subject. People want to know if they have to read it urgently, or it's just ask for information, or if it's feedback. Remember that as soon as your email lands in someone else's inbox, they have to decide when to read it and how to read it. And oftentimes, you identifying what it is helps them read your email quicker or sooner, right? So try to keep it catchy, make it simple, make it clear. So you make sure that the person understands what you're trying to achieve since the subject already. Other things to think about is the structure of your email. Make sure that the person you're addressing, you have their full name and correctly. Be accurate with this. Some people may get very offended by having a name misspelled in an email. It sometimes is felt as if you are not paying attention to the details or you're not putting enough effort in an email. It can be a thing. So please remember about this a little detail. Your name, where you're from, the fact that you live with diabetes, if it's relevant, and in which capacity you're writing. Some of us are not just YLD members. Maybe you're a member now of the Blue Circle Voices. Maybe you're a mentor. Maybe you're a member of your association, or you're writing as a researcher or as a medical doctor. Make sure that they know from which capacity and which angle you're approaching them. Keep it short, keep it brief, and straight to the point. More tips on structure. Make sure that you elaborate why you are writing this email. This is general tips. Later, we're going to go into detail with examples. If you not add this background, this person is not going to know exactly what you would want to achieve until the end of the email. And sometimes it's very annoying and unhandy to read an email for 2 minutes, and then at the end, you know what the person is emailing for. For example, dear Beatriz Janes Jimenez, or dear Miss Beatriz Janes Jimenez. I'm contacting you on behalf of the YLD program, or I'm contacting you on behalf of my diabetes association in the country. Make sure that you mention it immediately. Don't elongate your emails too much. Okay, so the first impression. This is something you should note, of course. How do you introduce yourself? The first thing a person wants to know, is this person legit? Are you really a member of the Young Leader in Diabetes program? In which capacity are you writing? So first things first, establish the credibility. I mentioned that you should introduce yourself, but this is a very important point. Establish credibility. How do you do that? Add website links. You have a profile on the Young Leader in Diabetes website. Add that link so they can identify you on the official website of the organization. Add your signature, but also refer to your organization. Or sometimes, as a reference, you can add the social media content of your organization or the name of the account or handle of the social media of your organization. So they could see, this is real. Okay, this person exists. And I know that you have been working within the organization. State where you're from and which organization you represent, of course. And also, one very important point, touch base on the value proposition for the organization. If you want to have an impactful email, it's not just about what you want them to contribute to you, but what you can offer also in exchange. So if you say, I know this organization wants to support causes within the community, maybe connect on that point in your email. Maybe connect on how they could support you while you give them the opportunity to support a very important cause for the health of children or youngsters in your country or in your island. Examples will come later. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, we were going to do 2 exercises on Poll Everywhere. Please visit the website pe.app/Nurian Arias or scan the QR code. And then I'll meet you on the other side on Poll EV. We're going to do 2 exercises, and then we're going to get back to the topics. If you're not able to access Poll EV, please let us know in the chat. That's a good comment. Thank you, Beatriz. You see, the subject is very important. So going to OEV. Let's see. Everywhere. Okay. Can you please put a thumbs up so I know that you're able to access poll everywhere? Just want to make sure that, okay, perfect. Let me give you just a few more seconds. Okay. Whoa, okay, whoa. You guys are eager. All right, so the question was about which line sounds more credible. So I see the answers going back and forth. Okay. All right. Okay, so I think, wait, almost everybody answered? No, not yet. Okay. So, most of you think the second sentence is most credible or more credible. I'm going to log responses. All right. So this is it. So instead of going for the first one, most of you went to the second one. Can one person open their mic and tell me why they would go for the second one instead of the first or the second one? Or the third one, I mean. Anybody? Don't be shy.
I
Don't bite, I
jump in.
promise.
I don't mind jumping in. I picked the second one just because it gave a lot of information about who you were, but also where you're based, and some of your experience. So I think it just gives the reader a bit more of there's more substance to what you're saying. So I felt like they would take it a bit more credible because you're not vague or kind of giving very kind of generic information. It's very specific.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you for jumping in. Indeed, I would personally go for the second one. I'm not going to tell you what is correct, what is wrong, but think about a context in which a person doesn't know who you are, doesn't know at all maybe what YLD is. So I agree with Cameron, and that's the reason why I would go for the second one as well. Because imagine a lot of emails go back and forth, which are scams. I've personally had a lot of emails which are scams. And when the information is very general and vague and generic, as you mentioned, something you could find on a website only without any additional details about projects or anything else that is not on a website, it's a bit sketchy. It's a bit hard to identify whether you should answer the email or not. So don't only think about the credibility, but think about the possibility of being blocked or put into the junk email. So indeed, the second one gives me context, where I am from, what I am doing as a YLD, the organization name, and the name of the program. This is just a small fraction of the email, of course. But if you want to start your email, this is one of the elements you want to have in your email. So next question. Why is it not changing? Okay. So which line is more persuasive? And I'm speaking specifically about value proposition. This means how you want to convince the organization to contribute to your project because you think it could add value to them as well. So kind of like a hook, as we say generally on social media, you want to get the person's attention, but in an email in a formal way. Let me give you a chance to answer and then we'll discuss it. I'm going to hide the answers for now. Okay. Did everybody manage to answer? Just please give me a thumbs up and then I'll stop hiding the answers. Okay. Okay. So answers. All right. So we have two polls here, the first one and the second and the third. Does anybody want to jump in? Just one person? Let me see.
Maybe I will jump in.
I know.
I think I think it's more persuasive because like only the first line explain the benefits towards the company. Also, what are your what is your goal hoping from the help? So it goes both way. It's a more all-rounded explanation. So it seems to be more persuasive instead of a one-liner, it's good for your company, or it really help us. So a more detailed explanation is always more persuasive in my opinion.
Thank you, Enoch. Indeed, if you want to convince the organization, you must mention at least one argument or one reason, concrete example on why. The second one mentions supporting children with diabetes and their families. But that's general information. You know that if you support, you're supporting. So you're repeating yourself. The third one, by supporting this initiative, you'll greatly support us in a project for the diabetes community, the same, just in different words. But instead, the first option, it mentions keywords. Think about keywords: support, commitment to promote healthy lifestyle, the target group, children and youth, while strengthening trust and visibility, the values, trust, visibility, to serve your community. So those are maybe two arguments or concrete examples already. So if you're thinking of convincing a person, be smart, go on their website, check what their values are or core values as an organization. If they talk about safety, health promotion, and trust, use those keywords some way, somehow. Speak to the person. Go directly on the emotions of the person. Because you know that if you speak to the person heart to heart in a formal way, you have more chances of convincing the person as well. So think about the keywords. Okay, later we'll be back on Poll EV. Let's go back on the slides with more examples. Stop share. Okay, let me go back to the slides. Here we are. Yes. Thank you for participating in the poll, Evie. Of course, if you have any questions, please do post them in the chat. So we spoke about, oops, my slide got stuck. Hold on. No. Going too fast. Sorry, guys. Google Doc is being rebel today. Okay, so we spoke about establishing credibility. One, we spoke about a little bit about the structure and general things you should have in your email, general pointers. We also spoke about value proposition. So now we're going to go a little bit more on the part of the clear request of your email. So the request includes the value proposition, of course, but it depends on how you structure your email. So you usually start by introducing yourself, establishing credibility, starting with explaining what your project is about, and then you add the request with the value proposition of it in your story. So when we speak about a clear request, what is a clear request? We say you need to be super clear, indeed, but is the information there? Do you say what you want to have out of the email contact, or eventually what your goal is? If this is not clear, the person doesn't know what to do with your email. So they're going to also, one, spend time on talking about this and thinking about it, and you're going to wait without having to wait for too long. So one tip for making your purpose of your email explicit: be concise about what you would like to achieve with the email. Again, use your keyword SMART. Are you aiming to make an appointment? Do you want to have an answer on a question that you post in your email? So would you like to receive information? Do you want them to support an event, be it by being present, being a partner, giving a sponsorship, a donation, endorsing it? Do you want a sponsorship approval? Do you want a call to action? Call to action can be anything. Maybe it could be for them to participate in a project or campaign you're organizing, or by supporting an event. It's up to you. But if you want to have clear and concise, but also swift response, state what you would like to achieve. These pointers will help you make the request clear. Your request is only clear when people know exactly what they should do next. So at the end of the email, when they read it, they should know, oh, so I have to check in my agenda if I'm available to speak to you. Oh, so I have to send this letter to the finance and marketing department. Oh, so I have to check with my organization if we can volunteer at your event. So think about whether your information answers these questions, and if they pose these questions on the other end. Okay, so we're going to exercise again on poll EV. All right. Let me share my poll EV. Just to make sure that, one, we keep you awake, and two, that we keep you engaged. So back to poll EV. Huh? All right. So question number, wow, you guys are fast. Didn't even manage to hide the responses. Okay, so question number 3 for the second part of poll EV, a call to action. Would you be available for a brief meeting at your convenience to discuss my request in greater detail? What are you trying to do? Or what am I trying to do? Schedule a meeting, receive sponsorship, or response feedback? What am I trying to do? What is my goal? Okay, let's see what you guys answer. Okay. So most of you thought it was to schedule a meeting and response feedback. Well, response feedback is a bit vague written indeed, but in this case, it's really about knowing when I can meet with the person. And what are the keywords I use to make this clear? A brief meeting at your convenience to discuss. So I want them to say yes, no. And then further in the email, I must ask, can you please let me know when it suits you best to meet with me, should you be available? So remember, if you ask a question like, are you available? Also say, can you let me know when you are available, in a more formal way, of course. So very good. Next question. This is the last question from poll EV. Okay. Would your company be willing or open to endorse this project proposal in support of your commitment to promoting healthy lifestyles among children and youth? I'm just giving an example. That could be the shared goal. So what do you want to achieve? A response, a feedback, receive support, receive information? What exactly am I looking for? Let's see. I like that you have divided opinions, because indeed this sentence doesn't specifically give a hint on now or then. So if you want to look at it both ways, now I would want to know what they think of my proposition. But at the end, my longer term or medium term goal is to receive support. So indeed, it's two things. I want them to support me eventually, but I want to know now what they think about it. So if you want to know now if you can receive support or they want to participate, you should rephrase your call to action. You should ask it in a different way and more direct way as well, such as, would your company participate in the project on October 4th, 2025? Be more direct, be more specific if you want to know now if they're going to participate. However, sometimes you need to be a bit flexible in the process of convincing a partner to participate. Talk about it, present, speak about it, sit at the table and discuss the details first so you can get people to support you. Okay, now that we wrapped up with the poll EV, we're going to continue with a few examples, email examples that I've written, and also some things, you can't see my slide. some things for you to consider, and examples, of course. Were the exercises on the poll EV helpful? Just a show of thumbs up would be helpful, just so I have an idea. Let me see. Okay. Thank you. So, a few things to consider. Why did my slides disappear? Share again. I think that technology doesn't like me today. Do you guys see my slides? Because I can see that I'm presenting. Okay. All right. So a few examples on making your request clear. A request for a meeting, you of course have the option on writing an email a bit informally if you met the person, if you have a bit more trust in the relationship, or you feel more confident being informal, but also formal emails if you haven't met the person or you're starting a new relationship from a different capacity. So here are two examples, the bit informal one and the bit more formal one. Would you be willing to hold a short call to discuss this initiative? This sounds like an informal communication. Instead, if you have a more formal communication with a person, you would use this example. For example, would it be possible to arrange a 15-minute meeting with you next week? So you use different words that are a bit more formal, like arrange, possible, how many minutes, etc. So a different example would be on support and endorsement. Would your organization be willing to support this proposal? And the next example, I hope that we, the name, can count on your support for this project. This is a particular sentence you would use at the end of your email. So before you say thank you and you greet the person formally. And other examples on feedback is, I would appreciate your feedback on my project proposal or your expert advice on this topic. And then if you would want to just share information, you just mentioned, can I share a brief report on my topic? But you would use this with a purpose, of course, because you want them to support you, but you're trying to build that relationship little by little. Okay. Do we have any questions so far? Trying to check. Questions? Okay, then I can continue. All right, some other things about structuring your email and making it impactful and straight to the point. If relevant, please indicate by when you need a person to react or respond to the email. Make sure that it's not too demanding or unrealistic for the person, especially if you do not know the organization or the partner yet. But if you've had contact and you expect that the person is on board and is supporting you, please mention a deadline or information about how they can participate and deal with the time frame of your project. So without this information, they may put your email at the bottom of the task list because, well, it's not that urgent anyway. So some tips, again, some things that you need to do. Follow up on your emails. Make sure that they know that you're pending and that you're going to ask them a question. Sometimes people rely on you to follow up and may not follow up automatically. So respond to everyone on the email unless you don't want to, but make sure that you refer to the previous email. So based on my previous email, this or that, but which previous email? You sent like 20 emails before. Make sure you are clear about which email you've sent before and what you're talking about specifically. Okay, so I would like for you to do the following. Some of you may have seen this already, but doesn't matter. We have different emails. So if you read this email is about asking for further details. If you see this email, what would you adjust or what would you do differently? I invite anyone to open their mic and share their thoughts with me. Oops. Okay, did we finish reading? Does anybody want to share what would you do differently? Or how can you improve this email, to be more specific?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, can I go on? It's Herbert.
Yes, of course, Hubert.
Yeah, looking at this email, first of all, it has two salutations, hello Nulian and good evening, which I think it is a bit not necessary because it could only be hello Nulian and just be that, and go with the reason for writing the email. And the other thing is the purpose of writing email, looking in the subject line, there is
No
nothing
subject.
there. Yeah. And even more, within the email, the purpose is also not clear. It's, the writer said, I was wondering if you can send me the information, which information we don't know, and about the project you spoke about. You might have spoken about a lot of projects. So it's like you don't know which project the writer is talking about. And closing the email, he said, "Please, thank you. I'm working on it now." So can you please send it? So it's like you don't even know which project the writer is working on, so that maybe you can try to guess the other project the writer mentioned. And the closing, thank you, good night. So even there, it's like before that, the writer said, please, thank you. And again, thank you, good night. So it's like even the closing
It's double.
of the email is not right, because it could only be at the end, not within the email. Thank you.
Thank you, Hubert. Thank you for sharing basically almost all the pointers. Indeed, when you look at an email, try to be brief and short. Be specific with your greetings. Is it a good evening, sir, formal, or is it informal? Who are you? There's no subject. Beatriz is getting rich again without the subjects. The IDF advocacy team would be, for sure, a millionaire if they had all these emails like this, because what are you talking about? Who are you speaking to? The spacing is a little disorganized. Make sure that you space information out so the person can read it easily. Indeed. Thank you, Hubert, for participating. A next email. I think this speaks loud enough for itself. Why? Because, well, good morning, Beatriz. Yes, but you were invited to a dinner. What is missing? What should be in this email? Right? You want to accept. This is the rephrase. If the goal is to accept an invitation to give a presentation, what is missing in this email? You say yes, thank you, but then what's next? Think about it. What is missing? And I invite one person to give one example of what is missing. What is missing in this email? Anyone? Anybody? Let me see. You can also put it in the chat. Don't be scared to answer. This is indeed. Thank you, Daisy. Remember that there are so many ways of writing emails. There's no incorrect or perfect way to write an email, just the fitting email or the appropriate one. Date or presentation topic. I cannot open the mic. I'm in work. Okay. Thank you, Michaela. But there's no subject also. Indeed.
Hello.
Hi, Usman.
How are you? Okay.
How are you? What is missing?
I think the subject of the email is missing.
Yes, indeed, I agree with you. So we're on the same page on the subject. So other things, and we mentioned it as well in the email, date, presentation topic. Based on this email itself, we don't know if the person already knows when it's going to be, where it's going to be, what is expected. So when you say, please share more details, maybe the person already gave you all the details, but you have a particular question about the time that you have for the presentation. So be explicit, explain, can you share more details on the time that I have to present? Or can you share more details on the audience who will be present? Be explicit. So again, reaffirm you have all the information. Did I understand correctly that these are the event details listed? And then pose your question. Don't forget to add a signature. All right? Okay, so identify, I see that I put identity, my bad, identify some tips and tops from this email. I'll give you 2 minutes to read this one because it's a bit long. Some things you say, I would definitely think I would do the same, or this looks right, or this does not look completely right. Okay. So anyone, any tips, tops? Also open to receive them in the chat. We're flexible. Absolutely. Most of the times, subject of your email will receive more messages than they have time to read. Indeed. If you get a clear subject, the chances of being read multiply. Facts, because if I see student email that is in caps lock urgent, I'm going to answer. Or if they say feedback, I'm going to answer. But if it's a random email as per information, I'll read it later. Not urgent. That's how it goes. Sometimes you need to choose how you use your time. So does anybody have tips on this email? The introduction, Cameron, the introduction at the beginning was really good to set the scene for why they are email and who they are. Okay. Okay. Yes, indeed. It gives who the person is, where they come from, the name, the organization, where the project was established, what they do, the website, indeed. What else? What could be improved a little bit more in this email? Just to give you a hint. There's one thing that I personally think could be improved a little bit more. And we spoke about it at the beginning of the presentation. What is it? Okay, I'm going to give you the heads up. So in this email, it seems like all the information is there. However, I'm not mentioning how this adds value proposition for the organization. So maybe I could add a little bit more in this email to that particular area of the email, because I say how they can help me, what exactly I need, more information. I attach a PDF document with a letter, everything. But I didn't say how it adds value to their organization. So that is something to remember. So the value proposition. So you mentioned it. It's clear at the beginning, but I address the person formally. The details are there. I mentioned why I'm emailing, but what is not on the list is the value proposition for the company. So this is the last example, and then we're going to go to the Q&A. I'm sending an email because I want people to support my project, and I want to recruit potential volunteers or supporters. How can I adjust? Can you identify tops in this email, or how can I improve this email so I can receive a lot of volunteers to help me in my project? Now you guys know that I work in the midnight. Oh boy. Anyone who would like to share? What are your thoughts? Anybody? Proposition value for them again. Indeed, very important. Thank you, Luis. And there's one more thing, very important, that should be in an email like this. Were you able to identify it already? Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a hint. If and when you email about volunteers and people helping you, especially with work, active work, mention or attach information about what it means to volunteer. Does volunteer mean I have to hold the door or greet the children at the beginning of the camp? Does volunteering mean I have to prepare lunch? Does volunteering mean that I'm going to be playing with the kids the whole day? Does volunteering mean that I'm going to be asking for sponsorship? So be explicit about how people can volunteer. So they could make a decision beforehand, so they don't have to answer the questions or not meet your expectations at the end. So that was basically, again, the last example. If you accept an invitation to participate, these are examples. As a volunteer, you will be requested to ... Your support will help us ensure that ... This camp will be a wonderful opportunity to connect and network with individuals. A bit of value proposition. We'll contact you within X weeks with more details about a briefing we are organizing. But you must have said what you're going to be doing. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. So all these points, how to contact you, when to contact you, when you're going to have a briefing, if you have it, value proposition, and what they will be doing. So a little checklist. For sponsorships or donations, again, always put details about the YLD. Be specific about the request. State how their sponsorship will help you. Don't forget the value proposition. To accept an invitation, clear response, yes or no. Do you accept or do you not accept? State why this invitation will help you or why are you excited about it? How does it add value to you? Questions about specific details. What is expected from you? State if you agree or not. And on introducing yourself to a community, for example, volunteers or potential supporters, make sure you add the details of the program. Mention why you are emailing. State exactly what the objective of the email is. Be specific. State why they should support you. And state the next steps. Of course, what comes next? What is going to happen? And how they can find you. Thank you very much for your attention. And I'm ready for questions. I see there's something in the chat. Q&A. Okay. Thank you, Daisy. Guys, again, I don't bite. I promise.
Okay, maybe a question from me while someone else wants to ask a question to you. So you have been in both positions, right? You have been in the position of someone that started writing emails, and at the beginning, everyone writes terrible emails. It happens to everyone. It happened to us as well. But then with time, now you are an expert in writing emails. So what made the click for you when you realized I need to do something because, yeah, this is not working? Yeah. If you can let us know, because maybe some of the people in this call already have been in that situation.
I'm going to be very honest. I used to write explicit emails, details, but then I learned I'm writing too much information at once. So at work, when I came back from studying abroad after my master's, even I was already a young adult, and my colleagues would tell me, I asked them, did you read my emails? And they say, well, no, because I saw the email was long and I was, no. So I thought, oh my gosh, they're not reading my email but all the information is there. Yes, but I don't have time to read this right now. So with time, when I catch more experience, I realize that I have to be explicit about what I want to achieve. My subject is always information, or the document that I'm submitting. Like now we're starting with class today. So I put model description, feedback, or please review in the subject. So they know I'm not even going to open it if I have to do work based on it. If it's like submission, caps lock. So I learned that I need to respect someone else's time. Even if I thought respecting someone else's time was writing everything at once, but it was not. It was being smart about the information. I use links at work, at least. I attach documents. I tell them where to find information, or I ask them, let's meet for 5 minutes and make it easy, make it simple. So that was the click. When my colleagues were telling me I was not reading your email, I put it on the last thing on my to-do list.
Absolutely. And actually, it was like a month ago, right, Chris and Daisy, that we asked on the LinkedIn group that we have for the advocates what people struggled the most about. And many people were saying that actually it was keeping the email brief, right? And it's true that if you write a lot, yeah, people will lose attention, as you lose attention when you are doing also an oral presentation and it's too long. So yeah, it happens to us all the time as well in the team when we need to send important emails. We do a lot of back and forth reviewing, because it's true that in the end there are always things that you can leave out because they are not that important or they are repetitive. So yeah, our recommendation for everyone is to wait a bit before sending the email and just yeah, do something else, go back to the email or do that the following day. And that way you can see if something yeah is not necessarily needed in that email.
Usman had a question.
No? Yeah.
Can emails be edited if they are already sent and later on realize that you forgot to include the subject of the email? Well, I have something that I do. Thank you for the question, Usman. That's a good question. I believe not, but what I do is that I put in my settings from Gmail that I can cancel an email like seconds after it was sent, and I've done it a few times because then I'm like, wait, I'm not sure that I read it correctly. So I go back and cancel it immediately. I have like 5 seconds to do that, and then it goes back to my draft. So I read it again and I say, is this okay? Otherwise, if I doubt, I just leave it and I don't send it. I'll just leave it there for 1-2 days. And then I come back and I read it again, and then I schedule it for a decent time. That's another thing. Sometimes I work in the midnight. You've seen it in one of the emails, like 2 o'clock. I try not to send emails at a time, unless it's to the advocacy team, it's fine because we have 6 hours difference. So my 2 o'clock is their 8 a.m., it's fine. But for my colleagues here, I schedule it at 2 a.m. if I'm working, but they receive it at 8 a.m., which is a decent time. So if you feel like you're doubting and you cannot unsend it like on WhatsApp or Instagram, just leave it in the draft for 1-2 days, read it, think about it, read it when you're not tired, and then you can adjust little things. If you don't feel that you have other things to adjust, just send it.
Yeah, that's a good one, Nurian. And yeah, I think a few other email servers give this opportunity. I know for sure Gmail, but also Outlook. And yeah, now also most of them will also tell you, it looks like you have forgotten your attachment, because it will realize there is no attachment and you wrote attach. So yeah, the email platform will realize that something is missing. So yeah, this is making our life easier. But yeah, that's a good, especially for important emails. So if you're reaching out to someone to present a project, to fundraise, yeah, give it time. It doesn't matter really if you're sending it one day or the day after, unless there is really a deadline and it's the last day. It's always better to wait a bit and give it another thought if you are not 100% sure that the email works.
Can an email be scheduled to send it at a specific time and date? For sure, I believe, I'm not mistaken, all the email servers do this at this point. I don't use Outlook, I use Gmail, but Gmail has this option. Gmail even has the option to write a template email. So if there's an email that you think this is a beautiful email, I don't want to write it 1,000 times, you can save it as a template in your Gmail or your email server, and you have it there. So if you have to resend it more times, you always can go back and just change some details and send it. But you have to read well though, because you can make mistakes, of course. And you can schedule at a specific time and date, but from a difference from an hour. So you can't schedule it now for 10 minutes from now or 30 minutes from now. It should be an hour at least in advance. So if you know that you're going to be in a weekend out, this Friday and you don't have time to send an email on time, but you said that you would send information on Friday, schedule it, leave it as is, or put it in your draft. You just have to click. But then for an email that you want to automatically send, schedule the time and the date, it will send itself. If you had been introduced to someone else meaningful to your project, to a mentor or a project supporter, how do you know when to keep the conversation between you and the person meaningful for your project? So you're not responding to everyone every time when is not important or relevant for them. Okay, let me go back to Usman and then to Emmanuel. Oh, but I mean a day or more, and it should be automatically sent. Yes, it sends itself automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. And it shows you in the inbox that it's scheduled. So, okay, so Emmanuel's question. So if you have been introduced to someone else and how to make sure that thank you, Cameron. Thank you very much for the feedback. Thank you for coming. So the question about Emmanuel, keeping your conversation going. So if you know that this is something specific that the person asked you, or you want to learn about what this person could mean for your project, I suggest starting a chain of email directly with that person. Because as soon as you know that this person is the person you need for the project, everybody else do not necessarily have to be in the email unless they have to play a role in that particular communication. If, for example, you were introduced by, let's say, in the advocacy team and to one YLD from 3 generations ago, you could mention in that email reply to all, thank you for introducing us to Karina Garcia, and we really appreciate it, and we hope that Karina can support us in our project in the Dominican Republic. At Karina, can I contact you directly? And then from there, you don't really have to continue the communication with everyone. Maybe Karina answers, yes, of course, email me. And then I'm good. I email Karina directly, and I continue the conversation with her in an email separate from the advocacy team. So as soon as you know, okay, the person who introduced me does not have a role in what I want to ask or achieve, you leave them out of the email thread. So that's how you know. I think I understood your question correctly, Emmanuel. Please let me know if that is what you meant. If not, you can ask again and then I try to answer again. Yes, okay, good. Awesome. You're very welcome. That's what we're here for. Do you have more questions? Meanwhile, just wanted to share that writing emails is it's an art. With time you get used to it, but it's not like every day you have the inspiration to write an email. Because sometimes it's like, I'm tired. So what you can do when you have a beautiful email, go back to your sent emails and rewrite it, so you don't have to think about it every time. Can we make a signature profile with YLD IDF logo, or will you provide us with that?
That's a very good question, but you should know by now. Yes, so actually in the welcome pack that we shared with you at the very beginning of you becoming a YLD trainee, there is a signature there for your email to sign with it and to give credibility and value to your email, that you are belonging to a program, that this program is an initiative from IDF. So yes, you have this in your welcome pack. If you want, we can share the signature again in the next biweekly update, for example. So you have it again, but please use this signature because it really helps your email to, as you saw, the beautiful emails of Nurian always have her picture with all her titles. So it's important. It gives credibility to you and to your email. And also it starts for you to become a brand. And as you are part of the YLD program, it adds also something to your personal branding as advocates. So please use it and we will share it again.
Thank you, Daisy. Perfect.
So it looks like there are no more questions. Yeah.
No, I think we're good to
No
go.
one else? Yeah. So Christina still has something to share. So while Nurian, I think you need to give host or sharing permissions back with Christina. So while they are sharing the screen again and the slides, just again a reminder to everyone. So you are, well, some of you probably are very experienced in writing emails because of your job or because of uni, and some of you maybe are struggling a bit more with that. Don't worry about that. Again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us. And here we are all learning. I mean, I've been working for IDF for 12 years now, and I'm still learning ways of improving my emails. And you can definitely meet a lot of people who have been working for many years and they don't send very good emails. Sometimes they are extremely lengthy, or it's not clear what they want or by when they want it. So yeah, don't think that that everyone else is doing everything correctly and you are not, because that's definitely not the case. So yeah, just try to learn from all of these tips from Nurian. And again, you know where to find us if you have any questions. And now back to Chris.
I was trying to unmute myself and I accidentally made a bit of a spoiler. But we have a update for you guys, which is kind of exciting. I'll just move on to the next slide since it was shown. But we've heard from the networks and that it's needed to have some spaces where advocates can connect with each other and have a bit of a community with each other and engage with each other's projects and each other's work. And with a conversation with our regional coordinators, the concept of WhatsApp communities came up, and we have been researching it the past weeks to a month, and we think it's a really nice idea. So we will be soon implementing this tool. And just to share a bit more with you guys of what it is, if you're not familiar with the topic. So basically, as I said, the networks for IDF are very important for our work and just to create a community with something that we all are believing in. So even though we have a line of communication with the networks, there's not a way for the networks to grow and to have this strength with each other. And WhatsApp communities are a structured way for these groups to have a space. And so basically, it's like an umbrella with all of the different groups below. So yeah, as I said, this approach aims to have a stronger relationship, not only between IDF and networks, but it is something for the networks as well. So if you've never been a part of a WhatsApp community, this is kind of what it looks like. You have the group chats, which of course we're all familiar with group chats. It's just all participants can write in there. And right now there are some group chats in some of the networks, but it's not a generalized thing. So the idea is to have group chats more generalized than what we have right now, and all under this umbrella of community. And as you can see, there's also the announcements tab. So the announcements is honestly the most interesting part of the communities, because it is a way to have one-way communications, direct, immediate, and in a way that arrives to everybody interested at the same time. It is also only one way. So for example, it's always a thing that you're in a group chat and something important has been communicated, but you don't have your phone and there's like 50 messages and you've lost it and you lose something that would be interesting otherwise. Then this is a way that it will just stay there. Important announcements, important events, things of interest, and in a quick way and very much more immediate than an email. So yeah, just a couple considerations regarding privacy, which is always important. Of course, joining the communities will be something voluntary. When you join a group, you will become a part of the full community and you will see the announcements chat, but you will only see the groups that you're a part of. That way, there's a bit more privacy in between groups. And another important consideration is that the phone numbers of the members will be hidden in between the group chats, but that this will not impede communication between members of a group. This was important because, of course, there's group chats which will be like very small and everybody will know themselves in person. But for bigger group chats, we think it's important that it's your choice if you want to share your phone number with somebody or not. So yeah, just this was a bit of an introduction, just a few more notes on how this will be implemented, because this is first being tested with the networks. So there will be a community for YLD and a community for the VCVs. And there will be different groups in the community. We will decide, but we're throwing around ideas regarding cohort, region, or language, just things that would make sense for the engagement to happen and to take place. But yeah, we're still working on setting this up, but you will receive an email in due time with a link to join the groups that are relevant to you. And that way you will, as I said, through the group, you will be joining the community as well. So yeah, since we're still setting this up, working on this, if you have any comments, if you have any concerns or ideas, feel free to share them with us at advocacy@idf.org. We will take them into account. And as I said, this is something as much as for the network as it's for us, for our convenience. So if there's anything that is important to you, please let us know. And yeah, we're a bit over time, but it's okay. Thank you so much, Nurian, for the presentation. It was super insightful. We already received some notes on the WhatsApp group that this was a very nice presentation. So thank you so much. And for those who could not attend, of course, recording slides and the feedback will be sent to registrants. Please answer the feedback questionnaire. This will help us improve, and also we will be able to share with you the attendance certificate. And yeah, if you have any questions about today's presentation or about what we shared about the communities or anything, we will always be available at the email advocacy@idf.org. So thank you so much for attending.
Thanks, everyone, and thank you, Nurian, as well, for always supporting us on these sessions.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for participating.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.